Welcome back in my channel today. Hope you are doing good and great with the God grace. So today we are on the last day of our this series, that is Learn ServiceNow Scripting from the Functional Consultant. And at the last we are going to be discussed that what are the best practices to write a script and about the series closure. So let's come back to our favorite place, my favorite book. This is nothing I'm going to be doing on the system now, just on in the service now. I'm just going to be read about these particular things. Because every developer who write a script, who write a code, the wish list is that the code should be up to the mark, should follow the best practice. Like if I say follow the traffic rule, it is a best practice, because if you follow the traffic rule, the chances of met with an accident is very less, unless it's all about our come and our time, that's all. So in ServiceNow we have this six, or as per this book, these 6 categories has been given for the best practices. One is the coding best practice, irrespective of what you are writing, server side, client side, business rule, script include, script action, anything you'll be writing. What is the best practice we have to be follow here? So the coding best practice says, number 1, you have to be check what you want to be achieve. And to achieve anything in ServiceNow, there are multiple ways. Like a normal example, if I take, I can make a field mandatory via UI policy and via script as well. But I have to be checked what is the best way to get the work done. So I'm sure that we can learn the scripting by doing the practice as well. We can learn the scripting by doing some exercises as well. And maybe we can learn the scripting by watching my videos as well. Okay, so when scripting, there is many ways to achieve a same goal, but keeping the code efficient can make it much easier to maintain and work in the future. This is the very much important point. We as a developer need to be think that by using the minimum resources of a system, by reducing the load time, how I can make my code wonderful and the efficient. The major point which is that we have to be understand the performance. That the code which I'm writing, it should not going to be impact the performance of my system. Otherwise, it means that the code you write is not up to the mark. And everybody say it's not a best practice that you are writing a code. There is a few examples coming in this particular part, which are going to be discussed a little bit more area. Okay, so that is the number 1 point, is that we have to be sure that what we want to be achieve, and make sure less resources should be used with the less loading time, and should be the less load on my data center, and the performance should not be a issue here now. Okay, the first point which this says, avoid the nested if statement. Like if you see the example, was state, current dot state, if state 1, then new if state 2, then in progress if state 6 is resolved. Keeping the if in the if will increasing the load, increasing the what I can say, evaluation time actually, because every state will go, is it 1? No. It is 2? No. It's 6? Yes. So it means if I am sending a 6, then it will not, it should not be touch these ones, it should come directly here. But if we put the nested if, then it will check with each and every statement, and that is a problematic here. So now what it suggests here, that nested if should be replaced by the switch option. Can I put the switch cases here? Case 1, case 2, case 3. Like this. In simple manner, I say there is no difference. But if I talk from the architect perspective, from the platform architect side, then this is the much better script than the nested if, because I am specifying cases here, and if the cases match, then it will be giving me the result here. So this is the number 1 example. Avoid nested if here and use the switch statement. And also it says that for every switch, use the break as well, so that it should come out the loop immediately, should not go for the next to be to be discussed that part, or needs to be matching at the next level as well. Okay. The second section of this particular point is that business rule best practice. It is very, very, very debatable question, debatable I can say point here, because in a lot of time I appeared an interview approximately 6 to 8 months back where that person asked me, Atul, what are the best practice for the business rule? I said you can use business rule on the server side. He said no, I am asking about the best practices, that what the practice you follow to make or write a best business rule. So again, business rule should be as we know that business rule are the server side scripting and is one of the major component which has been used in ServiceNow scripting. Okay, but it depend on the efficient running of a business rule. If your business rule is taking a lot of time, running it twice for updating a record, then it is not a correct business rule. So in this section, I'm going to be specifically define these points here. Number one, what this book specifically say. Insert and update. Insert, update are mostly used and they often used together, which is not a good practice. Either use insert, either use update. Why it's saying, however, it is the best practice to ensure that you make your business rule only run when necessary. Developers say, okay, let's put update because we want to capture each and every situation. But we have to be thinking that do we need this update as well? Can the insert work or not? Don't tick both boxes just to cover all possibility. If your business rule is not needed when a record is inserted or updated, then leave it box unchecked. If you don't want to be run any business rule, better you should not put the update or insert, or maybe update only, not insert. Okay. Then delete and query are selected individually, so they can use by that manner. That's fine. Now, after getting this clarity here, the question come when, before, after, asynchronous or the query. A very again important point here, that when it should be run here. Okay. Now the question come when to be run. When basically what this book recommend, number one is that before. What it says, running a business rule before a record is saved is a great way to change the value. Okay, but we have to make sure that if we are running a before, then let's avoid using the current.update. In a business rule, I am doing the before as well, but I am putting at the scripting, I am putting the current.update. It means I am going in the database twice. One is on the insert and one is on the current update, which is not a best practice. Okay, so what this book says, remember that when running a script in a before business rule, the record has not been saved yet. This means that only you need to be set the value in the current record, as the record will be saved after that. But if we are putting current.update, it means I am running this query twice and it is taking a lot of time. So better avoid this thing. If you are using the before, then don't use the current.update. Okay. Now the second point, it says after. If the business rule is run with the after option, script runs immediately after the record has been saved. Very true, and agree on that part. If we are updating a value not on the current record, we are saving it, but want the script to be run immediately. It means, let's say if I'm not changing anything on any current record, but still I click on the save, it means I don't want that this script should be run, because I'm not making any change in any of the field. Unnecessarily going in the database and putting the value there. This option is useful to update the records associated with the record being saved. For example, change task when updating the change. In that case, it is good. But if it is not there, then avoid using that part. So if we are looking to update the current record, then it is better to use the before option, not the after. If you're thinking to using the current update in your script, then you think using the before instead of writing update, or writing after actually. So that is another point which is given by this particular concept here. Asynchronous, basically it's a good option. Try to use asynchronous because it is be used for the ECC queues and the sending message between the integration and all the things. This is good, and you can use asynchronous if you don't want to be take any immediate action on your record. Display. Sorry, let me scroll down. Let me open from here. We are here on the display, right? Yeah. Display is a business will run when a record loaded before any client script, because we read about this, right? That display is the one which work like a client script as well. It run and after that it load. Okay. So if you're using the display part, this type of business rule is useful for providing values to the client, so that there's no need to call this part. So in this case, they're saying avoid AJAX call using this type of business rules. Don't unnecessarily call the AJAX part and taking some script include something. Make it as a simple so that it can run in a better manner on your system actually. Okay, if you are considering using an AJAX call in an onload script, then you should instead, where possible, use a display business rule to fetch the server side. It means they are saying if you have a AJAX call, it means you are using some server side scripting in the client side on the onload, then better don't use this. Use the business rule for the display perspective. This is the second part. Third option or third section in this part is client side scripting. That is the best practice for the client side. They are saying number one, avoid if you can do. Put the minimum client side scripting because of the client script, because it make the page heavy. It take the time to load the page and unnecessarily putting a burden on the resources. So in this case, what they say, like on the load, I'm checking the sys user and get form.get value caller ID and showing this message here. So they're saying that this is not a good practice to do this part. This script is calling the server side script. Yes, it is calling. By this way we can understand this part. Okay. For an instance, whether the caller is active now in the system, means it is already the user which is logged in is already active. Then why we need this particular to be checked the active is not, user is active or not here. So instead of that, better don't use this script. It is not going to be good result for you, even though it work for you, but it is not a best practice. Where you know that okay, the logged in user is already active, then why you want to be checked that user is active or not? Again, that is not the right option here. It is increasing the unnecessary the load time for the system. So like this you can see here. So to keep it good, they are saying use the business rule and then use the execute e call here and use the function from the maybe the script include or other functions you can call it here. This is another best practice which is given by this book. Okay. When field on the when to run tab is displayed, the rules run on the form level. For example, we set the incident form as a table to run this business rule. Okay. So in short, basically in this particular screen, if you see, we have a when field, right? When field basically this when to run. So this is mainly depend that when to run all these things. And again, we have to be considered the before, after display and asynchronous portion, which we discussed just on the previous section. Okay. And then I'll come into the almost in the last section of this particular point is that debugging the tools best practice means what tool you should use for the debugging. It is not like open every log like we done enable every in the session debugger. It is not a good practice. Use as much as the gs.log, but before you move your code into the production, remove this gs.log, otherwise it will create unnecessary logs in the system and you are not able to find out the result which you are be looking for. So what they clearly say, we must ensure that this debugging is never seen in the production instance. It is a good practice to check each script that you write to ensure that no debugging is left in the final version. That is important point here. Okay, and then at the last you can put it like this and you can find out that what changes has been done here. Try to be mention a good statement, a good meaningful statement. So like this, there's a caller ID obtained from the caller field with the value caller. Now this is also not good. So what they recommend, instead of using this, put the caller.getDisplayValue. If still not be working, better use the sys id, so that in the future, if you want that which user is be taking, you can get that part very easily. So if you scroll down here, you can find it like it's completing the fairly name here. Like there is another part which we can do this thing. Session debugging, which we just discussed in our last yesterday, or I guess the last day video in the day 8, that you can use the session debugging, but again, don't open the logs for each and everything. It will create a problem for you. Okay, only switch on those logs which is be required at point of time. Otherwise, don't switch on that part. And finally, logs and queue best practices. Put up the queues somewhere so that you can see that how many the things are be moving. The log should be in the queued up so that you can check that part. These are the required when you will be doing the event management specifically. The job should be queued up and you can check that part. It means they're saying better you can use some kind of a queue option, like event management. We have the queues here. That will be good for the logging part. And when you're doing logs, definitely gs.log is one of the good way to do that part. Nothing new I'm telling here, it's just a summary for the previous parts which we discussed in our things. Queues, definitely we use the queues for sending the jobs and the events, and it is a good practice. Don't put everything in a one go. Put in the batches, not individually as well. Make a batches of the 10, 15 or 20 or 30 records in a one go and then run it. It will save your time. It will give a little more flexibility on the resources part as well. Each queue will be processed after a given time, and timing that each queue is be processed often set a system property. So why system property? You can set the timings and then you can proceed further in that case very easily. The same goes for the event queue which we created in the event approximately day number 6 session. Event queue was there, but you have to be define that particular queue. Events is well defined, only fires when it is be supposed to. Don't create unnecessary event. I want this. Only pick up those events which are actually required and try to put with the script action or the notification so that it follows the complete life cycle here. And the last one, which saying the system scheduler, this is one of the good option given by ServiceNow, that you can schedule the things in the ServiceNow. Again, they're talking about the scheduled job specifically, like emails you can schedule, reports you can schedule. That is a good option in the part. Again, the only point is that avoid the system resources at a given point of time which is be used by everybody. No, try to make it as a chunks, batches, schedule, run before or after kind of business rules. You can define that part. Finally, ECC queue, just to see that how many inputs and output messages are coming from the mid server and holding here. So one of the good example, you can put the good things here. The last one which I am coming here is called the system performance best practice. ServiceNow give us a system performance that is called the basically performance, instance performance. Instance scan, I can say, not performance. So you can put up like this here. So you can check suits or you can check checks here. Okay, and now you can see that how many this thing I can say system is taking how much time. You can put on the dashboard as well like this. Okay, so like this you can put the dashboard as well. I guess in the Rome release or in the Cubic release, ServiceNow introduced the portal performance as well, where you can see that how much time a portal is taking actually. So maybe I can show you that part as well. Portal performance. I'm not getting the right option, but there's some option given by ServiceNow portals as well, where you can go and check the portal performance, that how much time on a single page the system is taking. You can check my Cubic features video as well, where you can find this particular option very easily in that case. And the last one, this particular option give you the very many good information. You can see that how many scripts are running, which script is taking what time, how much time it is taking, and then you can take a corrective action. Generally, this concept is called the health scan in the production systems. By the system performance logs, the DevOps team or the deployment team which you have, or the release team which you have, they find out the things from the system, and then they can share the logs. Also, what it will be recommended that from time to time do the cache clearance as well, so that the background data should be clear and it should not having the old data, it should be putting the correct data. And the command for do that part, cache dot do. So how it works specifically, go here def and put cache dot do. So it will show you that how much memory or the things each has been occupied at point of time, and then you will get the option to clear the cache. You can clear that part. So like this, servlet memory is this much, after garbage collection this thing. So if I click on the cache clear, it will clear the complete cache and it will increase my system performance. So it's nothing, it's like deleting the, what I can say, deleting the browser memory. Okay, by this way you can do this particular cache clearing part. So it is good if you do this part on the regular basis, not every day, but it is good if you do after, maybe if your production system is heavy, you can do after every week as well. Okay, so like this way we have done that part. Okay, and at last you can have this part, the graphs as well given by ServiceNow. This is called the system performance or the instance enhancement, which we just saw. If I come back here now, so like this way I have a instance scan here. Maybe I can put all category here. As of now nothing is running at my point here. Let me put apply, if I get some results or not here. So this is what ServiceNow given the new module in the, I guess, cubic release only, instance performance. You can run that part and you can check that thing, that's how it's be performing for your system. It is good to do these regular checks, guys. Actually it's good to do the regular checks here. Okay, so this is something old image, but in the new picture you can get a lot of things here. So like you can see transaction, UI actions, how much time it is be taking. So multiple options are there available here. You can find out and you can check that part. Maybe I can just check for the performance, something like this, or maybe I don't have that performance release. It's not, I'm not talking about the PA here. Maybe I can see what I can do here. No, it is not there. Maybe diagnostic something here, performance event, latest upgrade, performance window. Maybe let's see if I can get something new here. So these are the things which you can do very easily at your side. You have to just know that what is the right method to check the performance of your system. Then you can make it very easily here. It's working for me. It's taking a little time. Let me come back here now and we'll see any other option left or not. So like this we can see part. Generally this particular part, system overview graph sample, which is say this particular option available only with the deployment team and the production support team who is be supporting your particular instance. Only the people can see that particular thing. Okay, so the ServiceNow performance homepage also display many other graphs than one shown, which can use. I tend to find out response timings. Maybe it's saying the homepage is, I'm not sure that what is wrong with my connection here, sorry. Okay, so it's saying if I come to the home page, I can find out these options here. Okay, so these are the things, guys, from my side. Hope you like this particular series for the 9 days, and with my best knowledge, with my best understanding, I was able to produce this thing in front of you. If you think I put something wrong, please share the feedback in the comment section. I'm happy to accept my mistakes. That's not an issue. And last, if you like this video, please share with your friends and the colleagues. Share your comments in the comment section, and please like and subscribe my channel. Have a nice day. Keep learning, keep growing. We'll come back with some other more interesting and other series as well. Thanks. Bye bye.